Hi. So I was thinking along the lines of trying to convey why is it important to regularly, routinely clean your electromagnetic body. What I mean by that is, now we have a physical body, and the physical body interacts with the environment. Yeah, and we also have a space within us which is occupied by our internal organs, blood, yeah, different kinds of fluids, bodily fluids. And so our tissue body and our entire anatomical, physiological structure interacts with the environment. Now, in the interaction between, say, when two things rub against each other, there is an electric charge that comes up. Now, when air molecules interact with the physical body, which is like constantly happening, because as we're moving, we are basically pushing through air, as though if you're in a swimming pool, and if you're wading through water, you will be pushing the water as you're moving forward, right? Now, here outside, you're not in a swimming pool, but air molecules surround us everywhere. And air, you can say, is dry or moist, humid, depending on how much of water content there is. After a heavy rain, you will notice a lot of humidity in the air. Yeah, you're most likely to find mold in the clothes if you leave wet clothes to clump together. Versus in the summer, you're likely to find the air more dry, and sometimes people complain of more nosebleeds because air is so dry. Yeah? So there is constant rubbing of air against our tissues, and that produces something called as a piezoelectric effect. That is the electric charge generated by rubbing of atmospheric whatever is there against the tissues, different tissues. Different tissues have different piezoelectric frequencies. When it rubs against the bone, there's a different frequency. When it rubs against the muscles, there's a different frequency. So the sum of all of this has us have our own unique frequencies depending on the health of our tissues, depending on the structure of our tissues, depending on how lubricated our tissues are, depending on how well stretched versus contracted the tissues are. Yeah, how well nourished is the tissues. So depending on how well rested is the tissue, how well rested is a person, depending on all of this, the piezoelectric effect of each tissue varies, and it may vary day by day, moment by moment, depending on what we are putting into our body, how we move our body. Now there are four, in terms of physics, there are four basic energies, yeah, which is the electromagnetic, gravitational, weak force, strong force, which is what is known. Now, let me talk only in terms of the electromagnetic field. Now, when our body interacts with the environment and has the piezoelectric effect, which is like constantly, for each person there is this effect, there is an electromagnetic thing. Now, where there is electricity, there is also a certain magnetic energy that is generated. Yeah, you can notice any electric wire, you can check there is an electric component, there is also a magnetic component to it. So that's the electromagnetic field. So when there is so much of piezoelectric effect, there is an electricity that's also, nervous system is largely said to be, firing neurons and firing by which our muscle contraction, expansion, and all the different functions are happening. So there is electricity of different kinds in our body, and consequently we have different kinds of electromagnetic aura, so to speak. What we mean by aura is it's like you have a balloon around you, okay, and this balloon is the electromagnetic field that each person has, because our bodies interact with the environment, rubs against the air, rubs against the molecules in our environment, And hence, because of the piezoelectric effect, there is the electromagnetic effect. And that electromagnetic field extends to a certain distance around us. Now, when we are in a crowd, our electromagnetic fields, electromagnetic balloons, interact with each other. Okay, so it's like, and consequently, your electromagnetic field, your energy field, could be affected by another person's electromagnetic field, depending on what their health may have been, how well or not they've taken care of themselves. And different people are going through different kinds of experiences in life. Some are going through difficult moments, some are going through easy moments, some are very young people, some are pretty old, retired people. So there are all kinds of people when you walk around. And there are different kinds, there are different socioeconomic status. So each class of people, each group of people have their own experiences of living. And when people with different electromagnetic fields interact with us, our energy fields are likely to get affected by it. Yeah. And then it is like, we have a fence, like in a farmhouse, we have a fence, and animals or anything that has been trespassing, that may have been just going around, somehow gets caught in the fence. Okay. Now, they may or may not know how to release themselves. But what do we have? We have in our fence something that is stuck from outside, which is not us. They may or may not be trespassing, but they somehow have gotten caught in our electromagnetic field. So if it was our farmhouse, we would periodically check. Yeah, we would at least hear some noises and we would go check. And we would clear the fences so that the fence is all clean and fine. Now, our bodies needs, our biological fences need to be periodically cleared and maintained so that our health is maintained well. When there are foreign things, external things, which may have somehow got caught in our energy field, there is more chances, and if we haven't cleared them out periodically, there is more chances of us getting infected, more likely that we would get some cold or different kinds of illnesses, yeah, because it requires periodic maintenance. Now, so this is about the importance of why you need to do this. Now, in the work that I do, I get in touch with an internal pulse of each tissue. Now, a heartbeat has a rhythm. A respiratory rhythm, as respiration, has a rhythm, yeah, has an expansion, contraction. Our heartbeat also has a contraction, expansion, yeah, there's a heartbeat. Similarly, the blood pulsing through every artery, vein, capillaries, that's also a pulse. Now, varying from most popular known ideas of bodily anatomy, every tissue in our body has a pulse of its own. Muscles also have a pulse of its own. Bones also have a pulse of its own. Depending on the texture of the material, the blood also has a pulse of its own, of course, the pumping of the blood. Now, in the work that I do, it's pretty intuitive. I get in touch with the pulse of my tissues, just like I get in touch with the pulse of my heart, my heartbeat. I can feel my respiratory rhythms. I can feel the rhythm of my muscles. I can feel the rhythm of my, haven't gone so very deep, but I can notice some aspects of my arteries and veins. Yeah, I can feel the pulse of my bones, fascia, ligaments, cartilage. Each have a pulse of their own. And getting in touch with it allows you to know when something is off. And accordingly, you can maintain your health. Yeah, ask me how. Thank you for listening.